Hey guys, welcome back. In this video we're going to discuss all about how to create an AI chatbot using React JS and also Tailwind CSS. So take a look at the project. So this is a very simple header. In the header have a logo, in the right side have some text and button that will help us to display the dark and light mode. And this is a default message. This is basically a manual message, but when you will ask something, you will get the response from the AI. So let's try it. So I'm going to add the message, please introduce yourself. You will get the response from the AI. As you can see, what is JS stand for? Look at that, guys. So I will share with you how you can create that from scratch, but before creating that I will show you the dark and light mode, as you can see. So I'm going to close that and I will move on this one folder. Inside there I will create a folder because I need to create that. So we need to move on our code editor and we need to work on this one application. So I'm going to close, remove it, and write the code simple flex call hscreen, and inside this one app I need to target my header component. I will create that. So in the source I will components. Inside the components I will create a file, guys, header.jsx. Write the RFC and we need to save it. Let's take a look at that. I can't see that because I need to import that. Import header from component, and I'm going to save the file, and look at that, the header text has been pure inside them. So we need to design the header, right? So let's move on the header. In the header we need to just remove it, remove the div tag to header tag, and just a minute. I'll create another div. First of all, I will use flex item center and justify between. By the way, I'll also mention the comment left side content. In the left side content, I will use flex item center, and I need to make a space x3. Inside there, I need to also mention the two plus flex item should be not this one. I will use padding also to bg gradient to R from purple 500 to indigo 600. Indigo 600. And also I'm going to use rounded full. Inside there, I need to add only on the icon that will help us to display the board. So I need to target the board. Board is coming from our loose side icon, and also I need to add the height is 6 and width should be 6. Text should be white, right? So I'm going to save the file and let's take a look at that. What happened on there? Okay, it is guys, as you can see, this is the robot icon has been appeared inside there. The next thing I need to add the text, right? So after closing this one there, I need to add h1, and I'm gonna add class should be text Excel and font should be bold. Inside there, I'm gonna use IntelliChat. So look at that, guys. Right, so cool thing is this is right side. By the way, this is left side. After the left side, I need to create a right side content. I'm going to use right side content, and the right side I will use same thing, but I need to change the content. So flex item center space x4, and then I need to use two flex items center, and I'm going to use space x1, padding top and bottom 3, left and right 3, top and bottom 1, rounded, and text should be small, font should be medium. And inside there, I need to display the sparkless icon. Sparkless. So yeah, sparkless icon is up here. So let's take a look at that. As you can see, cool. After the sparkless, I also mentioned the span tag, and I'm going to use AI power. After this one there, also I'm going to add the button tag to display the dark and light mode, but on this time I'm going to just use sun because I will add the logic on later. So okay, and there we go, guys. So this is my header, but we need to work on the logic, like display the dark and light mode on behalf of on click on this one icon. Then we need to display the different designing on the header section. So in order to work on the dark and light mode, I need to move on the app.jsx file. In the app.jsx file, we need to use the state dark mode and set dark mode. By default I will use state. The default is false. We need to create a function that will help us to manage the dark and light mode. So let's try to toggle dark mode, and inside there I need to use set dark mode, not dark mode. So I need to pass that as a props in the header, right? So I need to use toggle dark mode. Basically this is my function. Also I need to write, and also I need to pass the state name like this one as a prop on there, and we need to get that dark and basically toggle dark mode toggle. On behalf of dark and light mode, I will add the different styling on the header section as a conditional based. So let's look at that, how we can do that. So the first thing is I need to add the conditional rendering on the header section. So I will use curly brackets, little template, and I'm gonna add the conditional rendering. Dark mode is exist. Then I need to use PG gray 800, and text should be white. Otherwise I need to use PG white, and that's it. After this one curly bracket, inside the back text I'm gonna add the shadow algae and padding top and bottom for px means left and right, and I'm gonna use bottom right. So I'm gonna save the file, and also just a minute, also I'm gonna add another statement on the dark mode is exist. So I'll use the border gray 700, otherwise border gray 200. So I'm going to save the file and look at that, guys. But when I will add the functionality on this one button, then this content will be appear as a dark mode, right? So but we need to fix this one content. So in a minute, I need to make a white with text white. Just a minute. So here's my mistake. So I need to use a space. So make a space in the right side. Great. Let's move on, and we will add another conditional rendering on the sparkless, right? So let's use it. Curly bracket, little template, dark mode is exist. Then I need to use text indigo 400, otherwise I need to use text indigo 600, right? And also I'm going to add the height 4, width should be 4. Inside the AI powered, also I need to add the conditional rendering, and inside that I'm going to use dark mode is exist. I'm going to display the text indigo 300, otherwise text indigo 700. Text should be SM and font should be medium. So I'm going to save the file, and as you can see, but we need to add the functionality on the button tag, right, to display the dark and light mode. And also when I click on the button, then I need to display the sun and moon, right? So let's work on that. So I'll use the class curly bracket little template dark mode is exist, but before dark mode at the conditional rendering, I will use the little template and I'm gonna add the padding outside too, and the rounded full cursor should be pointer, and yeah, pointer. Then I will use conditional rendering on the dark mode is exist, so I need to use BG Gray 700. Otherwise the BG Indigo 700, text should be yellow 300. And what is the next thing? I'm gonna add it. Otherwise just a minute, I need to check that dark mode is exist to display the BG Gray 700, otherwise indigo text yellow. And also I'm gonna add another thing. Okay, here's a problem guys, I need to cut it, just use one, and then I'm gonna use BG Indigo 100, and it should be Indigo 700. So I'm gonna save the file, as you can see guys, but also I need to change this one, dark mode is exist, to display the sun icon. Otherwise I need to display the moon icon, right? So I need to cut that. I'm gonna paste outside of this one curly bracket, so it should be okay. I think I need to find out the problem. Sun is not okay. Sun is up here, but why I'm able to see? Sun. Okay, I need to also add the moon, so it should be displayed. Yeah guys, as you can see, but the functionality is when I click on that button, after this one I'm going to use on click, just to use toggle dark. I need to call the function that is passed as a prop, so let's try it. Click on it, as you can see, but when I will get the text in a minute, I will find text indigo BG Gray 700 and we don't need that. Okay, and yeah, as you can see guys, so that's our header section. I will add the functionalities and other functionalities later. This time we just design the steps, right? So let's move on another component. So I'm going to close that and create a component chat message.jsx, write the RFC, and we need to work on that. After the header, I'll create a div. Inside the div, first of all, I need to add the classes. Overflow wise auto means display the scroll bar when the particular height will be completed. And then I'm going to use padding, and the medium screen size I will use padding 6, like this. Okay, inside that I'm going to target my chat message component. I'm going to save the file and look at that chat message. Right, in the chat message I need to pass few things. is a props. The first one is the dark and light mode. On the behalf of dark and light mode, I'll change the design. The next thing I need to pass is a message, but in order to create a message, I will create a state that will help us to passing the message is a prop. So let's do the const messages and set messages use state, and I'm gonna pass as the object because I will add many things like this. So first I'm gonna save that, and timestamp is date, and I'm gonna remove this one because I'll create another file on later. So ID is one, text is hello, how I can help you, whatever the text you want to edit, and the sender is port, and timestamp is now date. So when you will pass this one message, you will get complete object. You will target anything which is included inside there. So let me copy that, and I'm gonna pass as a prop in the chat box, like messages like this one. So I need to get these as a pop on there, the first one, the next one, and we need to work on it. Then I will add another thing on later. So in the chat message, the first is class, and on behalf of dark and light mode and also message sender, I will add the conditional rendering on there. So I will use message.sender, right? So let me, like this one, I target that. If this equal to is user, then my style should be justify and otherwise justify star, like justify star, right? And I'm going to save the file like this. Inside this one there, I'll create another there. I'll use the flex, but also I'm going to use conditional rendering on there as well. Curly brackets, little template. But before using conditional rendering, I'm going to use the simple classes like flex max width of this one is 80%, and in the medium screen size I will use max width should be 70%, and this is rounded to Excel. Rounded, just use rounded. And padding left and right 5, top and bottom I'm going to 3.5, and also I'm going to use the conditional rendering. Message.sender is equal to user, then I need to use the BG, just a minute, BG gradient to right side from indigo 600, right, and to purple 600. Text should be white and shadow MD, right? So let me, just a minute, I need to check that. Okay, BG gradient R, and okay, I need to add the another things. If the dark mode exists, then I'm going to use BG gray 800. Text should be BG gray 800, and text should be gray. 100. Also I'm going to use the border, right? Border, yeah, border 3 700. And also the last thing I need to add it bg white, text tray 800 and shadow MD, like this one. Save the file. It is completely appear inside the body. As you can see, this is the body, but when you will change it, it is applying the dark and light mode on there. But I think something is wrong on there, so let me check that. Just a minute. Let me move on there and let me check that what happened on there is okay. The problem is I need to assign that as a max width should be 5 XL and margin left and right auto space y is 4, and inside that I'm going to pass the same component, so it should be appear in the center of the page. Great, as you can see guys, right? So let's move on the chat app. And the chat app, we need to work on another sections like display the board and many other things. So let's move on there. So I'm going to use there, and there I also mentioned the class, and the class should be little template curly bracket. But before using the conditional rendering, I'm going to use the flex shrink, margin right side 3. Then I will use message.sender is equal to user, and then I need to change the color as text indigo 200. Also I'll use the dark mode is exist, so I need to change text indigo 400, otherwise text indigo 600. So I'm going to save the file. You can't see anything else because I need to add some content inside there, then you will able to see everything on there. So this is a very simple way to design the application. So I have used simple logics to display and hide the dark and light mode, and I just add the classes on behalf of the dark and light mode, right? And also I have a message function like this one. On behalf of this one, sender is board or user to display the messages in the right and left side. That's it. So let's move on the next section. So inside this one there, I need to add few things to display the messages inside this one area, this one inside this one body. So I will use the div, and I will use the class flex1. In the flex1 I will use but before using it, in a minute guys, I forget something. So I need to display the logo, so let me add the logo. Message sender dot is equal to user, so I need to display the user logo that is coming from blue side icon, otherwise I need to display the board icon like this. I'm going to save the file, and I think I need to find out the side user and also board, so it should be display. Yeah, as you can see, the board has been appear. When you will change it, it is changed, right? And yeah, I need to add the classes should be height 5, width 5, and same thing I'm gonna use there, height 5, width should be 5. Right, so that's it, this one section. Outside of this one, basically I'm gonna find out the flex one, where it is. Outside this one there, I need to display the messages, right? So let me add that here, class flex one, and the flex one I will use the class margin bottom 1 flex justified between items sender, and then I will use the span tag. And the span tag I need to add the class font should be medium. In the span I need to use message.sender is a user to display the U, otherwise display the bot or whatever the name you want to assign on the AI assistant. Like this same thing you can do there, and there as you can see AI assistant right in the page, guys. Alright, let's move on. After this one is spanning close tag. In the span closing tag I'm gonna add another span tag, and I'm gonna add the conditional rendering classes on there. The first thing is I'm gonna use text should be XS, and I'm gonna use message.sender is user. Then I need to change the opacity 70, and also I will use that if the dark mode is exist, then I need to use text gray 400, otherwise I need to use text gray 500. Right, so let me save the file, and I'm going to change it as you can see, guys. Right, so in order to display the messages inside our application, so before moving on there, so I'm going to show you a few important things. So I have a utility, a folder inside there have a chat utilities.js. So by the way, this is basically a manual messaging. I will add the dynamic details on later. This time I just use the manually file details. Like these are questions, questions are coming from my this one file. I'll add them, and then I will change this one into API based, right? So here's a function that is used to display the different questions that is coming from AI. Like this is only on manually based. I will change it on later. And this is another function that will help us to display the time. So I need to get this one time on this one file inside the chat message. But before moving on the chat message, I need to import this one file, this one function, guys, like this one inside there. So I need to pass what happened on there. Just a minute, I'm going to check it. What? Okay, utilities. In a minute, I'm going to check that what happened on there. Okay, I need to use double dot, so I think it should be displayed. Format that. Okay, refresh your page, everything is up here. Right, so I need to pass this one as a prop inside the chatbot, and I'm gonna use the format. I need to get as a prop inside there, and I will add all of the things one by one. So the first thing is I need to display the message, right? But after this spin tag, in the spin tag in a minute, in this spin tag I need to use curly bracket and target my format time. So that is a function that have is a parameter, so I need to pass the parameter. It is coming from my message that is coming from there, like this one. Inside they have a timestamp, so I'm going to use it like in the index number 0 dot timestamp. Okay, so let's save it, as you can see, right? Let's add the message, but before using the message, let me check that what after this one there. I will use the P, and the P I will use the message in the index number 0 have a text. So save the file. Look at that, guys. So let me add the classes text smnd text base white space is pre white space pre wrap and backwards relating relaxed. Yeah, that's perfect. So save the file and look at it, guys. So this is a manually, but when I will send the request with AI, then it will give us the response from the API, right? So let me use dark and light mode. It is working perfectly, guys. So guys, let's move on another point. Another point is I need to display the loading indicator. So we need to create the loading indicator component. Inside there I need to just design the dot signs. So let me open my code editor, and so I also close this one. I will create a component like loading indicator JSX. I'm gonna use RFC. So you can't see on this time because I need to add the conditional rendering on there. So also I close this one. I need to just open the app.jsx file and let me make states. Is loading, set is loading. By default I will use false, right? So I need to design this one completely on behalf of the basically what just designing. So guys, this is a completely indicator based component. This will help us to display the dot signs with a small animation. You can't see this one on there, but when you will send the message as a user to AI, then you will get the message. Before getting the message from AI, you will get the dot signs as an animation based inside this one. So yeah, so let's move on. The last and final thing is input field, right? Before moving on, then let's so let's open the code editor, and we need to work on the last component, like chat input. So let's create a chat input.jsx and write the RFC. And in a minute, after this one, flex one, I'll target chat input component, so it should be displayed in the bottom, as you can see. Great. So inside the chat input, we need to pass multiple props that will help us to manage the input fields. So let's take a look at that, what we need to pass as a props. So the first thing is I need to pass as an input field and set input use instead. By default I need to pass nothing. The next thing I need to pass in a minute I need to check a loading indicator like this one, input dark and light mode, and also I need to pass a function that will help us to handle the message, right? So let me create that function, right? So after this one I need to pass, but before passing this one message, I will pass these props and I will design the application, then I will pass the handle sending message function on later, right? So let's move on. So I need to pass one by one values. The first one is dark mode, and dark mode. The next one is input is input state, and also I need to pass set input because I will add the functionalities inside set input, and loading indicator, loading is loading, right? So I have 4 props, so just a minute, let me close this one, and I need to get them dark, input, set input, loading. These are my components I need as a props, guys. So let's design the chat input field. So I'm gonna add curly brackets, and the first thing is dark mode, right? Dark mode is exist. Then I need to change PG gray 800, and I need to use border top, and I assign the color border gray is 700. If the dark mode doesn't exist, then I need to use PG white, border top, and border gray 200. Right, so after this one I need to assign the padding all side 4. This is my main div. After the main div, I will create another div, assign the class max width 5xl. MX means margin left and right auto to display the content in the center of the page. Let's move on, and I need to create a class flex items center space x3. Inside there I'm passing the input field. Basically input type is text, and I'm gonna add the placeholder should be type your message. Let me save the file and open that, as you can see, but we need to design it, right? So let's add the classes in the input field. There are a lot of classes, guys, so yeah. So these are classes, guys. These classes are used to design this one, as you can see, right? You can change. Okay, it doesn't work on there, guys, on behalf of button. So let me check this one. What happened? The dark mode exists. Just a minute. Okay, guys. The problem is I need to use curly bracket on there. Save the file and look at that, guys. I'm going to change it. It is changing. So let's move on. After the input field, I need to display the button. Inside the button, I need to display the send icon. So let me add the send. Basically send component. It is the icon, guys, as you can see. So I need to add the classes on there as well. And the first one, without using it, I'm going to use padding outside rounded full and transition colors. And I'm going to add the shadow, and the cursor should be pointer, right? And let me add the conditional binding on there is class name. The class name is dark mode, and then I need to display the text should be white. Otherwise, I need to display the text should be gray 800. So let me save the file and look at that, guys. Let's move on. So I need to move on the app.jsx file. Inside there, I need to create the function that will help us to display the message when you will send the message inside the input field. So I have 3 props: dark mode input, set input, and loading input. Also, I need to set up the input details inside there. So here is the input. So the first thing is I need to pass the value is coming from my as a prop inputs, and then also I need to use the event when I change something inside the input field. I need to use e and pass the value inside the input field, e data target the value, right? So let's move on the handle function that will help us to handle the event when user will click on the input field, right? So let me open this one. After that, I need to create a function handle send message. Inside there, I need to create an object user message curly bracket. In the curly bracket, I need to pass the ID. The first one ID, I will generate the random ID with the help of date function. So I need to target date.now. It will help us to generate a random number, right? So string. The next one is text is coming from my input state, that is here. Let me assign the role. Sender is user, role is user, and timestamp is new.date function. After this one, curly bracket, when user will send the message in the input field, I need to use set message function, and I need to target my as a prop as a parameter, and use curly bracket, use array, and make a spread operator use as a parameter on there, and pass the user message object that is there. The next thing is I need to use set input. When user will enter something and press enter, then I need to remove the text or clear my input field. The last thing I need to use set loading, I need to use is true, right? So let's add this one message and this one function. When I will add something inside the input field and press enter, then I need to get the response. So I need to get the response from this one file, then I will manage it on later, or I will update it. So I will call the set timeout function, right? And the set out function, in a minute I will use manually. So I need to create a variable bot message is object based. So ID is similar like this one, but inside there I'm gonna add date. In a minute I need to remove this one and use date.now plus 1.toString, and this is a simulated response from the bot, send is bot, and yeah, everything is great on there. After this curly bracket, I need to target my set message, and I'm gonna use same thing that is used on top like this one. Copy, I'm gonna paste on there. The next one is I need to target the set loading is false, right? And last thing is I need to assign the timer after use comma, and it should be display the perfect message, right? Target this one on there. So I need to target that function as a prop in there, and we need to get that in the input field as a prop. And also I need to use the loading validation or loading in the button tag, right? So here is a button. In the button I need to use the first one is on click, I target the handle function, and also I'm going to use disable as a loading, or but I'm going to use different ways. Okay, so yeah, it's perfect. So loading, why? Okay, great. So let me write something and let me check. Okay, the last thing and final thing is I need to move on the input field and use the event like on key term, okay, and inside the curly bracket, if E means I will target when user press the enter button, then I will execute the function, and not E dot shift key, then move on there, E dot premium default, and call the function. So I think it should be, as you can see, this is a loading indicator is up here, but I can't get the message, right? So let's find out the problem. Where is problem is? So yeah, I need to get this one function and include that inside there, because I need to display the message is coming from this one. Okay, so let me share with you how you can do that. Copy that and you need to paste inside there, right? And copy that function. You need to move on there and just use, all right, inside there you need to pass input. What? Okay, the next thing is you need to use the map method that help us to repeat the messages. So in order to use that, you need to use messages.map and write any name as you want on there, then use return keyword to return the data. Which data? Message component. In the props of messages, you need to copy that and paste on there. That's perfect. The next thing, you need to move on chat message. Here is a messages dot index number. You need to remove the index number because you don't need to use the index number. So let me check the top. Let's save it and let's try it. What happened when I will add the message. First I'm gonna refresh in a minute, guys. I'm gonna refresh my page. Okay, I need to also add the key is inside there, message.id. So let's look at that. Hello, and as you can see, guys, I'm getting the message from AI. This is a dummy AI, but we need to fix few things like designing, and yeah, so I need to move on the chat input, and inside there I need to add the flex, means use the flex property to display the message in the left and right side. Hello. Okay, here's a problem in a minute. This is a chat message. Okay, here chat flex. So let me save the file. Hello, the hello, or you have entered the message that is appear in the right side. The AI assistant message is coming from the left side, and the messages is coming from this one section, right? So let's fix the last issue is space. So I need to move on the chat message and move down, and where it is here, I'm gonna use margin right 3. So let me save and margin. So just a minute, I'm gonna check the problem is two is best. Let me refresh the page. Let's try it. No, it doesn't work. Let me okay, I need to make a space. I think it should be like a space. Yeah, guys, as you can see. So guys, our application is working perfectly on the local base, but we need to add the dynamic base. Means I send the message, then I need to get the message from the AI as a Gemini based or ChatGPT or whatever the API you will use. I will be using Gemini API that will allow us to use it for free. So let me show you how you can use it. So I need to move on Gemini API. Just use Gemini API and open the first one link. Then the next thing you need to explore that and get API key. So I have two API keys, so just click on it and copy the API key, right? If you don't have any API key, just click on that and write something, just a minute, like this one, and I click on there to generate the API key. Once you get the API key, let's say I have this one API key. I'm going to copy that. You need to create a .env file in the main root directory, right? So this is my Chatbot API. I'm in folder. Inside that I have this one file .env. So inside that I need to use Vite. Write any name as you want. Gemini API key. So I need to paste my API key on there. The next thing, you need to use Vite underscore Gemini, whatever the name you will use, API URL, okay, and you need to get the URL from there, like this one. You need to copy, like this one, copy, and you need to paste on there. But inside there, however, the version is 2.0, but I need to use 1.5 version, and it is Flash, and the next one is generate content. That's perfect. The next thing is I will create a folder inside my source. The folder name is, I will use services. Inside the services, I will create a file, whatever the file name you will use. I'm going to use Gemini API.js. Inside there, I will get these details. Just a minute, I will remove all of the things. I don't need this one. So I need to get these variable on there and create the function that will help us to display the message from the API and get the message from API and display the message inside our application. So what I'm going to do on there, I need to create a first one is variable, write the name Gemini API key, and we need to get the API key from this one file. So in order to get the file from the .env file, you need to use import.meta.env and the variable name, like this one. Similar thing you need to do to get the URL, like this one, right? But after this URL, I'm going to use curly bracket, not this one. Just a minute, I need to pass the API key on there. So I'm going to use $, and this one, after that I will use key is Gemini key. This variable is coming from there, and I will use these details inside this one file. So I need to create the function that will help us to get the response from API, and I will send the function inside my application. So let's look at that. Use export function, generate content, whatever the name you will use. Let me okay, by the way, this function is a sync function, and export const and sync, right? And I'm gonna use as the parameter is message. The first thing is, if the Gemini API key doesn't exist, then I need to display the error message. Throw new error, Gemini key is not defined .env file, or whatever the message you want to display on the page. The next thing, I'm going to use try and catch block and display the error message when I will get any message, any mistake inside this one file. So in the try block, you need to create a variable response, enter any image you want, and use await keyword, fetch function, and inside there you need to pass the URL. I have a URL inside this one variable, so I need to pass on there. The next thing, I need to assign the behavior. So the first one is method, you need to use post. The next one is header. In the header, you need to use content type. Content type is application authorization, doesn't need. Content type application /JSON. After the curly bracket, you need to use body. In the body, you need to use JSON.stringify. Prompt is doesn't need prompt on there. So let me close it. Let me close other things. Just use content. In the content, I need to use array. In the array, I need to use object. In the object, I use parts as an array. Inside there, I need to pass as the keys text, and message is coming from your parameter that you have passed on there, right? After that, this is just a minute. I need to check the try block, and this is your this one message. After this one, you will get the message. If the response is not okay, then display the error message, right? But I will use const error text await response.text, and I will get the error message inside my console. Error and something like this, and this is my another message. Right, cool. So after that, it is a little bit of tricky but very important, guys. So I will get the message response like this one on there. So let me check it, it's working or not. So I'm going to use console.log and just use data. But before getting that, I need to target this one function inside my application. Where you will use it, let me explain you. Go to chat message and not chat message. Let me check it. Not there, but you need to move on the app.jsx file. So you have used the get random response, but you need to use import the function that you have created on there from services.api. You need to copy that, and you have entered this one function, get random response. This is coming from there, but I don't need that because I have my own function. I have own API key based function. So let's try it. What happened when you will enter something? Okay, let me Gem doesn't provide export. Okay, let me check. Export const in a minute. I'll use this way. Let me refresh my page. Yeah, hello, and here is a problem, guys, from original localhost is blocked, and okay, the error is coming from my API key. So let me find out the problem. Okay guys, okay, the problem is here, contents. So let's look at that. What happened when you will send the message hello, and you'll get the response from API, as you can see, guys. So this is a candidate, so I need to get this one details like this one. So how you can do that? So I have a data, in the data I have all of the information that is coming from API. So I need to use if the data or data.candidates data.length not exist, then throw the error message no candidate found. So here is the candidates. So I targeted the data. If the data doesn't exist, to display the error message. If the data inside the data have a candidates, it doesn't exist, to display the error message, and so on and so forth. The last and final thing is I need to get the response. I need to get the message from API, right? So how you can get the message? So here is I have a data. Inside the data I have a candidates. In the index number is 0. Have a content. In the content have a parts. In the 0 index have a text. So I need to get this one. So you'll get this one to display the message inside your application. So I need to use a return data.candidates .parts yeah. So I think it should be display the message in my application. So let's look at that. Hello. As you can see, guys, please, this message is coming from API, guys. As you can see, 2 plus 2, as you can see. So very cool thing, and I know it is very simple, not a very simple but very useful and helpful project for you to improve your logics and skills inside the React and also Tailwind CSS. I hope you understood as well all about it. So thank you very much for watching. Have a nice day.